أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والله يحب الصابرين and Allah loves the patient. Assalamu alaikum. My topic today is going to be about Bibi Zainab and the love in her heart that she had for Allah. In the Holy Quran, in Surah Al Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that He loves and will reward the patient ones. Therefore, even if we are in a difficult situation, example there has been a death of our loved one, we should always be patient and remain strong. Bibi Zainab is a role model to all of us because even though she suffered through the death of her beloved ones in Karbala, and then her veil was snatched, and she was forced to walk through the streets of Sham, she still remained patient. Bibi Zainab, she had the love of Allah in her heart. Even before Karbala, Bibi Zainab witnessed hardships and afflictions which befell on the holy household. She had to see her beloved mother, Bibi Fatima, die with the door falling on her, killing her unborn brother Hussein. However, whenever she faced any trials, she displayed utmost patience and never complained. Instead, Bibi Zainab became more closer to Allah and loved Him more for making her stronger. Now I would like to share a story with you all. One day when Bibi Zainab was a young child, she was asked by her father, Imam Ali, "Zainab, do you love me?" She replied, "Yes, of course, I love you." Then the Imam asked her, "Do you love Allah?" She replied, "Yes, of course, I love Allah." Imam Ali then asked his young daughter, "Zainab, how can one heart have two lovers?" Zainab replied, "O father, it is because of Allah that I love you." This shows the understanding from a young age of the concept of Tawheed, the oneness of Allah. The principle of Tawheed is love for the sake of Allah. Love of Allah has to be demonstrated through our actions and akhlaq. I would like you all for a few seconds to think of an invisible chain that connects you to Allah through His love. Salawat. The sermon that Bibi Zainab delivered in Kufa is a brilliant example of the strong love of Allah in her heart. It was so powerful that it converted the glorious show of the victory into a mournful ceremony where the evils of Yazid and his army were revealed. The sermon caused many to cry and even boosted people's anger to Yazid and his governors. Ibn Ziyad, who never expected to be talking to such a knowledgeable and courageous woman, changed the subject and said, "How did you find the way Allah treated your brother and your family?" Bibi Zainab, with a tone full of pride and power, indicated her love and submission towards Allah and answered, "I saw nothing but beauty." As you know, on the day of Ashra, Yazid's army did not have the love of Allah in their hearts, hence they tortured the family of the Ahlul Bayt. Not only did they kill the 72 martyrs, they also burnt the tents, slapped the innocent children and pulled the veils of the bibis. The cruel army tied the family of the Ahlul Bayt in chains and ropes and made them parade from Kufa to Sham in extreme weather conditions. Zainab cries out in the darkness, "Where are you, father?" Zainab cries out in the darkness, "Did you see mother?" Zainab cries out in the darkness, "Where were you, Hussein?" Zainab cries out in the darkness, "Where are you, Abbas?" Zainab cried out in the darkness, "Where are you, Hussein?" Ali cried out in the darkness, have courage, Zainab. Zahra cried out in the darkness, don't be scared, Zainab. Her son cried out in the darkness, be patient, Zainab. Abbas cried out in the darkness, I'm sorry, Zainab. Hussein cried out in the darkness, how I miss my Zainab. Zainab is Zainab, yet she is more than that. Zainab is the dynamism of her grandfather, Prophet Muhammad. Zainab is the eloquence of her father, Imam Ali. Zainab is the modesty and purity of her mother, Bibi Fatima. Zainab is the patience of her son. Zainab is the obedience of Husayn, and Zainab is the bravery of Abbas. Zainab is Zainab, yet Zainab will always be more than that. Salawat. On the night of Sham al-Ghariba, Sa'd asked his widow to take some food and water to the ladies and the children. As she came to where they were resting, Bibi Zainab recognized her. She stood up and went towards his widow and offered her condolences for the martyrdom of Ho. This humble gesture of Bibi Zainab, who had suffered a lot and lost so many of her loved ones, and having so much grief in her heart, is a lesson to all of us. The world should never be allowed to forget how much patience she had. The next day the caravan was made to start travelling towards Kufa. Imam Zain al-Abidin was tied in heavy chains and was forced to walk barefooted. The ladies were forced to sit on bare backs of the camels with their necks and hands tied tightly in ropes. The caravan suffered the tortures of the journey, and when they reached Kufa, they were forced to march through public roads and through the streets of Kufa. Suddenly the camel that Bibi Sakina was sitting on stopped near a house. Bibi Zainab's eyes fell on Bibi Sakina and immediately knew she had something to say. She asked her, and Bibi Sakina answered, I am about to say something. I know, my dear aunt, that at this moment it is impossible for you to fulfill it. When Bibi Zainab insisted, Bibi Sakina replied, Oh, my dear aunt, my throat is so dry I do not think I can endure the thirst any more. Bibi Sakina's words were heard by the women who were on the top of the houses. Among these women, a good-hearted lady immediately got up from the crowd and rushed home to bring some water for Bibi Sakina. But when she came to Bibi Zainab, she asked for a favour in return, and asked, When this thirsty child has drunk water, I wish for her to pray for me. On hearing this, Bibi Zainab asked the lady what Bibi Sakina should pray for, and she answered that, My first wish is my children should never be orphans like you. Please pray for me, O dear child. I see that you are an orphan, and I am aware that Allah listens to the prayers of an orphan. Bibi Sakina raised her little hands and prayed for the lady. Then Bibi Zainab asked her about her second wish. The lady answered, My second desire is that I wish to visit Medina. Please pray for me, please pray for me that God will grant me permission to visit the holy city. On hearing the name of Medina, Bibi Zainab asked the lady why she wanted to go Medina. She answered, Because it is my wish to visit the Holy Prophet's grave, and I would also like to visit Bibi Fatima and her family. On hearing this, Bibi Zainab asked the dear lady, If you were to see Lady Zainab, would you recognize her? She immediately answered, Of course I would. Bibi Zainab removed her hair from her face and cried, Then your prayer has been answered. Behold, Habiba, it is me, Zainab. Don't you recognize me? Don't you recognize us all? Habiba began to cry and said, O God, what crime have you all committed so that you are being tortured this brutally? Bibi Zainab continued, We are the children of the Holy Prophet. Your master Imam Hussein has been martyred along with his companions and family. They have been left unburied on the burning sand of Karbala. Their heads have been taken and raised on spears. Look ahead, Habiba. Your master Hussein's head is in front of you, the head whose lips are reciting the Holy Quran. ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. Salawat.
أحسن. Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.